Hi, I'm Chloe. Welcome to the Internet Threat Lesson. Let's talk about your role as an internet user, how cyber threats affect your experience, whether at home, at work, or traveling, and the stakes involved. In our lifetime, technology has exploded with digital ones and zeros that drive nearly every facet of our existence. Emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, 5G, quantum computing, and evolving technologies such as cloud, autonomous vehicles, and connected devices in the Internet of Things, IoT, are targets that must be safeguarded against compromise. In fact, every second, more than 100 new IoT devices are connected to the web. As this cyber threat landscape continues to increase, we must expand our security awareness. Cybersecurity is a shared responsibility. We each have to do our part to keep the internet safe. First, be vigilant. Criminals rely on social engineering to compromise systems simply because it works. Therefore, we must understand the myriad of social engineering scams. Social engineers, also called threat actors, try to influence behavior, and human error accounts for nearly all data breaches. The goal of a social engineer is to obtain your trust, then exploit that relationship to coax you into either divulging sensitive information about yourself or another entity and giving them access to your network. Here are some methods of social engineering that we will explore. Juice jacking. Compromised public charging station that installs malware when a portable device plugs in from public areas, such as an airport, train station, or conference area. Phishing. Weaponized email that masquerades as reputable, lures targeted groups into taking an action, and only requires one victim to be successful. Ransomware. Malware payload that prevents access to computer systems, demands a sum of money to be paid to retrieve the data, and email is the predominant attack vector because it relies on a single click to circumvent controls. Spearphishing, whaling, CEO fraud, and business email compromise, BEC. Fraudulent, weaponized messages that target a specific role or person and is often financially motivated. There are many other methods of social engineering, which you can read about later in the course. Bait happens. Alternatively, when you become a human firewall, you make it harder for an attacker. Simply use common sense and awareness whenever something feels even remotely suspicious. Now, let's talk about mobile security. Most of us keep our mobile devices with us throughout the day. We check them frequently and even keep them at very close range while we sleep because these devices enable access to information anytime from anywhere. Today, they conduct more than half of all internet traffic, and the distinction between a mobile device and a PC is hazy. Because your portable device can contain vast amounts of sensitive information, they are very attractive targets and provide lucrative opportunities for criminals that are intent on exploiting them. With enticing data from mobile app activities such as banking, social networking, emails, maintaining calendars and contacts, mobile e-commerce, as well as GPS information, a multitude of vulnerabilities exist. For example, vulnerabilities in the technology layers of a mobile device, as well as SMS, MMS, Bluetooth, and the synchronization between computers and mobile devices, are potential attack vectors that extend the capabilities of malicious actors. Cybercriminal activity targeting mobile devices can have dire consequences, including stealing critical data, tracking users, and denying access to their devices. Your mobile device can also be used as a launching pad for more lucrative attacks aimed at enterprise systems, social networks, and cloud platforms. To help mitigate these threats affecting these vulnerabilities, secure your Wi-Fi network. Technically, the term Wi-Fi stands for wireless fidelity, and your wireless router is the primary entrance for cybercriminals to access all of your connected devices at home. Always secure your digital devices. Before connecting to any public wireless hotspot, such as on an airplane, in an airport, hotel, or cafe, confirm the name of the network and login procedures with the appropriate staff to ensure the legitimacy of the network. Public hotspots are always a security risk. To protect against the threat of juice jacking, think twice before using a seemingly convenient charging station at the hotel, airport, or train station. Instead, invest in your own portable charger. Those free charging ports might be loaded with malware that will infect your device and give attackers easy access to all your data. If devices on your network are compromised, someone could be eavesdropping on you, even in your own home on encrypted Wi-Fi. We all want to do the right thing, so let's develop good mobile habits such as avoid joining unknown Wi-Fi networks. Use multi-factor authentication, MFA. Back up your data. Avoid opening files, clicking links, or calling numbers that appear in unsolicited messages. Change the factory set default username and password. Delete all information stored in a device prior to discarding it. Disable features not currently in use, such as Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. Encrypt all sensitive data and communication paths. Enable lock screen using a strong password or personal identification number, PIN. Follow your company policies and data handling guidelines. Maintain up-to-date software and operating systems. Never leave your portable device open and unattended. Power down your device or put it in airplane mode prior to storing it. Set Bluetooth-enabled devices to non-discoverable. Turn off automatic connections when not in use. Now let's talk about email. We spend a big part of our day dealing with our inbox. In fact, 300 billion emails are sent across the globe every single day. Email is the #1 infection vector for all kinds of malware, including ransomware. A common form of malware transmission is via attachments. If you receive an email with an attachment, and the email is from someone you don't know, you probably should not open the attachment. Let's back up and talk about how you received these emails in the first place. No matter if it's classic spam or phishing, someone has your email address, and it's been passed amongst the spammers. While it's difficult to keep your email address completely secret, there are ways to make your email address seem less valuable to spammers. One of the more effective ways is to configure your email client to not display downloaded graphic images. With spam, the mere act of downloading images tells the spammers that there's a person actually looking at the email. This increases the value of your email address as a target. Most email clients that support this option will allow you to download the images for legitimate email messages. That way, they look well formatted and easier to read. Generally, spam doesn't request an action, and to prevent further messages from the sender, simply mark that email as junk and block the sender. Let's dive into phishing, spear phishing, whaling, CEO fraud, and business email compromise, BEC. Cybercriminals craft legitimate-looking emails that encourage people to take an action, such as clicking a link or opening an attachment, which at first glance looks like it is from an authentic financial institution, e-commerce site, government agency, or any other service or business. These attacks collect personal, proprietary, and financial information, and can infect your machine with malware and viruses. Often, hackers use domain spoofing techniques. They masquerade as coming from a sender that you may know, in an effort to get you to supply sensitive information, such as your login credentials, account numbers, credit card numbers, and money transfers. Because these emails look as if they legitimately come from sources you trust, it can be very hard to tell that they are fake. Cybercriminals rely on email to launch attacks because it continues to work. They are appealing and believable because the email looks similar to a real request. To be successful, it must trick users. To protect yourself, be suspicious of any communication that directs you to take an action, no matter how official it appears. Remember to pause and look for clues to determine if it is fake. For example, does this bait look fishy to you? It's an infamous example of a high-profile person receiving an urgent email that said he must change his password, and well, he clicked the link in his email. Now, if you remember only one single thing in this entire video, it's this: stop and hover over every link before you click. If you take a moment to hover the mouse over a link, you will see the true destination of that link. This is a significant clue to determine if an email is legitimate. For example, if you get an email that appears to come from your bank saying there's a problem with your account, and you must log into a website to correct the problem by clicking a link, do not click. Instead, open an up-to-date browser and manually type the website address URL to see what's happening. If you receive an email that requests the movement of money, such as payment of an invoice, even if it's from someone you know, We recommend that you use another form of trusted communication to verify that the message is legitimate before taking action. Also, carefully check the email address. Just because a message says it's coming from the name of a person you know or trust, it does not mean that it is truly that person. Phishing attacks are sent to a wide audience, whereas spear phishing, whaling, CEO fraud, BEC, and even vishing are directed towards specific individuals or business roles. Research shows these attacks are effective 91% of the time. If an attacker is interested in breaking into a particular organization, they might use a personally crafted email or a targeted phone call, seemingly from a source internal to that organization or from a vendor that the organization does business with and is trusted. Many times, these fake communications appear as a direct message from your boss or a C-suite executive. If you're suspicious, even if the details appear accurate, do not respond. Hover your mouse over links to check their true destination and check for spelling or grammar errors. To be safe, never transfer money, divulge sensitive information, or grant special access without first double-checking to confirm from an alternate trusted source. Social engineers are experts at impersonating legitimate sources, manipulating human nature to trigger an emotional response, and enticing you to skip normal security protocols. Don't fall for it. When it comes to cybersecurity, knowledge is power, and that's why, by implementing actions you can take, you can avoid common traps. Be cyber safe out there. Thank you for your time, and please remember to take the quiz that follows this lesson.